Hello and welcome back to Rev Real Estate School. I'm your host, Michael Montgomery, and today what we're talking about are common struggles that we have when it comes to social media in real estate. And we're going to look at a new way that you can be using social media in order to generate leads as well as stay in touch with your database. Now, here's the struggle. A lot of us deal with this when it comes to social media. One of the main ones is consistency. How do we actually stay consistent with this constant need to be posting on social media? Next, a lot of us aren't using some of the most powerful features that we can use social media for. And finally, content creation is just challenging. So how can we simplify this? That's what we're going to look at in today's video. So first off, one of the more powerful ways to use social media that you may not be doing right now is the concept of pull versus push. So when we think about the concept of social media, we're constantly thinking about creating content and putting out content, and that is pushing. We're putting content out there for people to basically interact with. But there's also this other concept of pulling. So what is pulling and how does it work? Well, basically what we're using social media for is to extract information from other people. So we did an episode with Chris Adam and he explained this perfectly. Basically what we're doing is we're using social media to determine what's going on in people's lives, and then we're using that as an opportunity to reach out over text or over the phone. So this is a very powerful feature of social media that not a lot of us are using. We're all thinking about creating content when in fact we can be on there scrolling and finding things that are interesting to other people. Maybe somebody went on a trip, maybe somebody had a baby, maybe there's just something interesting happening in somebody's life. We can use these opportunities to then turn those into text messages. That is one of the most underused tools when it comes to social media. Instead of thinking about just pushing content out there, also think about how you can pull information out and then start interacting with people. When you start doing this, you're going to notice your follow-ups with people become so much easier because you have all of this ammunition of ways to reach out and reasons to reach out to people. And you're also going to be reaching out to people more frequently when you start implementing this. And that's just going to cause your business to expand and expand. Now, the next thing that we need to do is we need to understand the difference between discovery content and branding content. So discovery content is content that we're creating on social media in order for people to find us. And then branding content is content that we're putting out there in order to basically be staying in touch with people that already know us. So what are some good examples of discovery content? That would be YouTube Shorts, TikTok, Twitter, Reels. These are all ways that people can find us and discover us. When we're going over to the branding side, these are people that are already following our content. So we could be talking Instagram stories, Instagram posts, Facebook, these sort of things. So we want to differentiate what type of content we're creating because there's a very important rule when it comes to creating this type of content. Let's start with the whole concept of discovery content. So if we're creating discovery content, one very important concept for us to understand is who is searching for this. Now that seems quite basic, but let's take this one step further. Let's say you have the idea to create content around how to renegotiate after a home inspection. Well, that's actually not a great topic for discovery. Why is that? That's because if somebody's searching for that topic, they're already at the point of drafting an offer and renegotiating basically at that stage. So we're capturing people too late in the journey. Instead, we want to be focusing on capturing people early in the journey, such as what are 3 websites that you need to know about when you're starting your home search in XYZ city? Or what are the best neighborhoods in your city for kids? So you're likely seeing the difference here. One is focused on the buyer journey further on down, and we don't want to be focused on that. These people already have agents. We need to be focusing on top of funnel. When people are starting to think about real estate, what are they searching for? That is the key to discovery content. Now, the other side to discovery content, that is very educational. The other side is entertaining. And this is entertaining people just in the world of real estate. So this could be house tours. This could be just some interesting things that you're seeing in real estate. This could be a day in the life as a real estate agent. Now, there's nothing wrong with this content either. This is more entertaining. And then there's educational. Entertaining, oftentimes you can grow your follower base quite quickly using that. But that doesn't always translate over into actual deals. Education can translate over to deals quicker. So I would intersperse both of these because we want the high follower count, but we also want to be getting people into our funnel who are looking to transact. So let's move on to this concept of branding content. So branding content is quite a bit different because what we're doing here is we're posting that people are already following us. So it's stories, it's posts, it's on Facebook, it's people that are already following us. So what do we need to be focused on when we're dealing with branding content? Well, we want to be a lot more focused on what it is these people want to see from us. And what are those things? Well, realistically, there's only a few things that people really like to see. And these things are you, your family and friends, your pets, your clients, and anything educational. Now you notice I didn't say anything about listings and solds. Those can still be posted, but those should be secondary. We should be thinking about posting more on the personal side as well as our client side, and less so on the sales side and new listing side, but we still want to be posting that. However, what we find is most agents over-index on posting new listings, sales, and they're not getting the interaction that they're looking for. And that's because it's not as personal, which moves us into our third concept here, and this is behind the scenes. So as Gary Vee says, don't create, document. So this is the whole concept of documenting our lives. People are just fascinated by the life of a real estate agent. You doing a CMA, you walking a buyer through a home. All of these things are very interesting to people. Branding content when it comes to documenting our lives is a huge, huge benefit to us. Not to mention, it's actually quite easy to do because all we're doing is documenting our day-to-day life. So coming up with content becomes fairly easy if we start to look for this. But the biggest challenge is oftentimes as real estate agents, we think to ourselves, nobody's going to care about this. When in fact, when it's behind the scenes, what's going on in our lives, if it doesn't seem interesting to us, do not neglect that concept, because there's a lot of people out there that just find the day in the life to be extremely interesting. So focus more on documentation and less on just pure creation. This moves us to the next one, and a very important one. It's this concept of content burnout. Now, if you have been creating content and creating posts for social media, you've probably encountered those days where you're just like, I do not want to post today. I do not feel like I want to log on to Canva and start building out a post. We've all been there. So how can we actually start to get over this concept of content burnout? Well, one of the biggest challenges is if we're creating content every single day, we are going to burn out. We are going to burn out. We're always going to be on this treadmill of what do we post now? What do we post now? So instead, what we do is we focus specifically on creating content for one day. So for example, today I'll probably record 3 videos and I'll change my shirt as I'm going forward with it. So when it comes to actually creating content, just block off one day. Just block off one day. And when you do that, you're going to get into the mindset of content creation. And then the next day, you can just forget about it altogether. So instead of trying to intersperse it throughout the week, choose one day a week that's going to be your content creation day and just focus on creating those days. Now, the other nice hack with this is you always have to have an ongoing running list of ideas. So oftentimes for me, ideas come to me when I'm walking or driving, when I'm out with my dogs. And all I just use is on my Apple phone, I just use reminders. And those reminders then get sent to me and I put them into a doc. And I have this long running list. I just call it my brain dump doc with all of these different ideas. Now, are all of them good? No, absolutely not. But when it comes time for that creation day, I can go and look at that doc and I can see all of my ideas that have came up. And then from there, that usually gets the juices flowing to start creating. So you want to just have this idea list document, and you want to make it very easy for yourself to continue to input different ideas. Maybe you see a post from another agent and you really want to do something along those lines. You put that into your idea list, which moves us perfectly into our next concept, and that is stealing content. Now, this doesn't actually mean copywriting content and repurposing it and using it, but what you can do, and this works extremely well, is you might see a post that's been very well done of an agent in your market or a video. And you're thinking, well, there's no point in creating that video because this agent already did a fantastic job of it. So instead of doing that, think about what it is that they posted and see if you have a perspective. So what's your perspective? And then create content around that. So this is a really good tool because oftentimes we think, oh, somebody else is already doing that. Or you Google it and you realize somebody already wrote a post about that or did a video on that. And then you don't even think about actually creating the content. But all of us have unique perspectives. So instead of looking at the content and thinking, well, I can't create that because so-and-so already did it, think, what's my perspective on that content? And then from there, you can recreate it with your own spin on it. This is a really good way to come up with content ideas. And finally, we have engaging with target accounts. Now, as part of our social media structure, when one goes through our training, we talk about this concept and we block off just 5 minutes a day to go and find target accounts that we want to follow. Now, what are target accounts? Well, these might be businesses. These might be people. These might be builders if you want to break into the industry of helping builders sell their listings. So we want to follow these accounts and then we also want to be engaging with them. So just block off 5 minutes a day to go and follow target accounts. This strategy works great. And then we want to be engaging with their content. And then when it comes time for them to get a realtor, you are going to be top of mind because you've been engaging with their content. Start using these strategies in social media and you are going to notice your sales are going to go up, as well as just your engagement and your database is going to grow. Thank you very much for watching or listening to this episode. Remember, you can reach out anytime at revrealestateschool.com or I'm on Instagram at the.michael.montgomery. Thanks again, and we'll see you in the next lesson.